All right, we will begin the session now. So, namaskar to everyone, and a very warm welcome to everyone joined in today on our 8th Know Your Species, Know Your Zoo talk. This talk is being organized by the Central Zoo Authority, New Delhi, as part of the ongoing Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The Mahotsav is a 75-week-long celebration to commemorate 75 years of India's independence, which falls on the 15th of August 2022. The Central Zoo Authority is taking this celebration forward through a massive outreach campaign entitled Conservation to Coexistence, The People Connect. Under this campaign, we will be showcasing 75 species of conservation priority and 75 zoos for the entire duration, showcasing one species and one zoo each week. We are currently in week 8 of the celebration with the Nilgiri Langur as the species in focus and the Thiruvananthapuram Zoo as the zoo in focus. Joined in today to speak with us on this species is Dr. Gigi Joseph. A brief introduction of Dr. Joseph. Dr. Joseph has a doctorate from the Forest Research Institute, Dehradun, on the ecology of an endangered primate from the Western Ghats. He has over 18 years of research experience in protected areas such as Silent Valley National Park and Periyar Tiger Reserve. He's also the recipient of an international award from the International Primatological Society and has published over 50 papers in national and international journals. He currently works as the assistant professor in Nirmala College, Kerala, and will be talking today on the biology of the Nilgiri Langur. So now I would request Dr. Joseph to please begin his presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Good evening, all of you. I hope I will be audible to all of you. Today, I am extremely privileged to take a session on Nilgiri Langur, which is an endemic and threatened species of the Western Ghats. And I am really happy to join with all of you to share some of my experiences in the protected areas, working with this beautiful black monkey species. Respected Ms. Sonali Ghosh, Deputy Inspector General of Central Zoo Authority, Ms. Arundhati from Central Zoo Authority, Mr. S. Abu from Director Thiruvananthapuram Zoo, and ladies and gentlemen. In fact, this species lives in the different habitats of southern region of the Western Ghats and nowhere else in the world. This is a folivore feeding mainly on foliages, currently facing a lot of problems. It has got a lot of unique features. And of course, it's really important to know more about this beautiful species. Biodiversity, of course, is of the buzzword today. We have to conserve our biodiversity. No? Every living thing is important. But primates require special mention as they are the most related species, and especially the species, the group which are living in the tropics. This one is an excellent example of a primate species surviving in the tropical regions of our own area. Let me continue with the rest of the presentations. This is called, the scientific name of this species is called Semnopithecus johni. But when you look in the history, it was Praspidus johni, it was Trachypithecus johni, and so many other synonyms you can find. A lot of vernacular name also is available. In Kerala, it is called Karinguran. meaning black monkey. In Tamil, it is uh, Karimandi, and Nilgiri leaf monkey, so many other names attributed to this species. This species can be easily identified with the long tail, very long tail. It's longer than its body length. Yeah. But I'm going to show you about another picture in which the lion-tailed monkey, which is also a black monkey, but its tail is comparatively shorter when compared to Nilgiri Langur. So in the field, it's very hard to identify Nilgiri Langur and lion-tailed macaque because both are sympatric species. But looking at the tail, the very long tail, very long black tail, we can easily identify. So black and white, but in order to identify this species, there is a white patch in the thighs also. It's there. That is a characteristic feature of this Nilgiri Langur. But the crown, nape, and whiskers having a gray patches, gray hairs. It is also a remarkable thing for this Langur. Its body length may come up to 57 centimeter long, but its tail length may go beyond that. It's average 86 centimeter. The weight of the species the male may be maybe having more weight. Around the average weight is 12.7 kilogram, whereas the weight of the female come around 10.8 kilogram. Yeah, when we look at some of the other features, when we come to the status and habitat, according to the IUCN, it has been included in the vulnerable status. That means it is in the threatened category. And the threatened category, critically endangered and vulnerable. This Nilgiri Langur is a vulnerable species. If sufficient conservation measures are not taking it up, and if the management strategies are not efficient enough, it will be definitely falling into endangered and critically endangered and finally extinct. So we'll be looking into the various aspects of the various specific aspects of this species. Its habitat, as I said earlier, is arboreal, folivorous, and diurnal. Always, these monkeys are always in troops. Its habitat, it is having a mosaic of habitat. We'll be seeing the pictures of all those mosaic of habitats also in a short while. But wet evergreen forests are one of the most critical areas of habitats for this monkey species. But they come to semi-evergreen, riparian, deciduous, and even shola forest. So it enjoys a wider range of habitats. That's a good thing, actually, rather than confining to a habitat specialist. But the status of the habitat, that is more important, is declining due to loss and degradation, habitat loss, habitat fragmentation, habitat degradation, canopy continuity. All those issues are coming, especially in regions regions outside the protected area network. This monkey exists in protected areas, and some of the contiguous ranges connecting with the protected areas. Some non-protected areas are also there, and they survive in those areas. And the problems and the issues are more in areas outside the protected area network, especially in South India. According the protection status is, after the Wildlife Protection Act in 1972 and latest amendments, it has been included, this species has been included in Schedule 1, Part 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. So it ensures the law ensures maximum protection to this beautiful species. But the French area people sometimes unknown to, because of the lack of awareness about the status of the species and other related issues, this monkey is being poached in some part of the area, some part of its range, and the quality of the forest is getting degraded and so many issues. We'll just to see all those things in the coming slides. Let's see. But coming to the social structure, basically it's a uni-male, multi-female troops. One male and so many females. 2, 3 females and young, sub-adults and young ones. But sometimes a sub-adult male come to, I mean, mature into a adult stage. Sometimes the troop may, I mean, there may be a troop fission sometimes. Otherwise, the male may migrate from that original troop. And, that male migration is very common in Nilgiri Langur. But basically, one troop will be having one male and 2, 3 adult females. The troop size may go up to 25, but average troop size is between 5 and 7, according to my experience. And among the females, actually, when we study about the macaques, actually, you might have heard about the dominance ranking among the males: alpha male, beta male, gamma male, things like that. The most dominant one, then the lesser one, and things like that. And here in this Nilgiri Langur case, the dominance hierarchy is very strong among females. Well defined dominance order. As I said, actually, my emigration is there, but multi-male bands also, when they migrate, actually, the males migrate from different troops, they may be having some, aggregations, local aggregations may happen. The males may aggregate and all male bands may be there, but they are of temporary nature. They migrate, they immigrate to certain other groups sometimes. It happens. But female transfer is very, very rare in Nilgiri Langur. So the integrity of the troop is maintained by the female of the species. Yeah. So its distribution. That's the thing. This, in the picture, it's visible that they are confined. Distribution. The Nilgiri Langur distribution has been confined to the southernmost region of the India. And here you see, actually, there are 2 populations in the picture, but more than 40, around 41 populations are here. But there is a major gap here in the Palakkad region. Actually, Palakkad gap is there. There's a gap of the Western Ghats. The major gap of the Western Ghats is Palakkad gap, and north of Palakkad gap up to Coorg, it is there. Up to Coorg, Brahmagiri Wildlife Sanctuary in Karnataka, some regions of Coorg. And so beyond Coorg, beyond north of Coorg, this monkey is not distributed. But it's found only south of Coorg. Majority of the population is in Kerala, but few, some of the population found in Tamil Nadu also. We're going to see about such things, but it is the general pattern. Yeah. So if we are not in a position to protect the existing habitats, what will happen in the near future? It may also get extinct. So when you come to the Nilgiri Langur distribution in detail, actually it is found only in Kerala, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. Kerala, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. Looking at the population in various protected areas, I was just trying to list out this Nilgiri Langur population in various protected areas across the country. In 3 states, in Karnataka, in Brahmagiri Wildlife Sanctuary. But in Tamil Nadu, a few sanctuaries, a few protected areas like Indira Gandhi Wildlife Sanctuary, Mudumalai Wildlife Sanctuary, Mukkurthi National Park, Kalakkad Mudandrai Tiger Reserve in the south, and Srivilliputtur Wildlife Sanctuary just before that, and such protected areas it is found. But in Kerala, from north to south, there are, it is found in almost all protected areas, almost all protected areas in the Western Ghats. Right from Arlam Wildlife Sanctuary in the northernmost region, Kannur district, then Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, Silent Valley National Park, Parambikulam Wildlife Sanctuary, Peachy Wildlife Sanctuary, Tattakad Wildlife Sanctuary, Iravikulam National Parks, and recently notified Shola National Parks like Madigattan Shola National Park, Pambad Shola National Park, and Anamudi Shola National Parks, they are found in there. In the Shola areas, it's found there. And Periyar Tiger Reserve, which is one of the most important habitat for this Nilgiri Langur to exist. And Chandruni Wildlife Sanctuary south, and Nayar and Pepara Wildlife Sanctuary down south. So these are the major protected areas where you find the Nilgiri Langur. But as I said, actually, it's found, it enjoys its population, existence in evergreen areas, semi-evergreen areas, sholas, most deciduous forests, plantations, and riparian areas, and so on and so forth. So that is an added advantage of this species, because it is not, when you compare with the lion-tailed monkey, which is a sympatric species, which is the lion-tailed monkey is a habitat specialist, which found only exclusively found in the evergreen forest, whereas this Nilgiri Langur found, they come down to semi-evergreen and they go up to sholas, the high altitude regions, and the moist deciduous regions, plantations, even riparian areas. So they enjoy a mosaic of habitats. So that's a thing, and it's a folivore. The foliage is not the availability of the food is not a problem, but the quality of the habitat is of very often it has been identified a problem. But when you come to the population status and strength, the lion-tailed, it's the Nilgiri Langur occurs around 20,000 square kilometer of area. It is there. Currently, it is there. Because now we have years back, actually, in Coimbatore, we had a primatologist meeting, camp workshop, actually, in which we assessed the status of the Nilgiri Langur, especially the South Indian species, and in which I was also participating. And the area of current occupancy was only 3,820 kilometers square. So they are found now in 41 locations in the South India. So that means, even though in the earlier picture there, you could see only you could see two patches, but it is not like that. But the original habitat has been fragmented like anything. That's the major important area. The contiguity of the forest is extremely important for the long-term survival of this species. But the subpopulations, many and fragmented. The total populations, as on today, around 16,645. That was the assessed number. But around we cannot exactly count the Nilgiri Langurs at any point of time. But the primatologists working in this part of the area assessed the total population at around 17,000, and in which actually mature individuals come around 8,300 individuals. So then the rest of the individuals are subadults, juveniles, and immatures, and so on. So the population trend, that is the most important thing. Actually, the experts for in 3-day workshop actually looking at the problems, threats, and the population available data. It has been assessed that the population is declining, and it may continue to decline for another 10 years. So that is an alarming situation. That's the situation. Then when you come to the feeding behavior, as I said earlier, it's a folivore, feeding mainly on foliages. But doesn't simply mean that actually it feeds only on foliages. It used to feed fruits. It used to feed seeds and flowers often. When I was in Silent Valley National Park, observing this monkey for around 4 years, I could find that actually, when Culinia fruit, when a particular tree is in fruiting in large number, they depend mostly on the Culinia fruit. When Palacium ellipticum tree is in flowering, they go for the major part of the diet in those seasons. They depend upon the Palacium flowers. But it generally, consolidating the results from various studies, it can be like 58% leaves, fruits 25%, flowers 9%, and around 114 plant species have been identified as food species. I'm going to show you some of the pictures from Silent Valley exclusively, Silent Valley also later on. But it has got a very characteristic vocalization pattern. Around 19 different types of vocalization pattern have been identified. I remember actually a paper by Hoffman, a foreigner, on the vocalization pattern of Nilgiri Langur, common langur, and it has been recorded with the sonogram and all, and it was an excellent paper. Long whooping calls of the Nilgiri Langur, one cannot miss such long whooping calls of Nilgiri Langur, especially in the dawn and dusk time. in a Nilgiri Langur habitat. If you go to if you go to Periyar, if you go to Parambikulam, or if you go to Silent Valley, one cannot just miss the whooping call or the sighting of the Nilgiri Langur. Even though it is a very shy, elusive species. A lot of other sounds also it makes: whistling, hiccups, wobbling sounds, squealing sounds, screeching sounds, grand vocalizations, and so many contact calls. So that's a very very interesting to be in a wildlife habitat and enjoy the different calls, different types of vocalization pattern of this beautiful monkey species, right? So when you come to the activity pattern, the behavior, it has there is a bimodal pattern. A morning peak and evening peak. So the traveling, foraging, they are actively engaged in the traveling, foraging, feeding, and other busy activities in the morning and in the evening also. But they may be taking rest in the noon time activities, and other activities, grooming and other activities, mainly confined with in the picture. See, this monkey is sleeping, in taking rest in the noon time. But this one, generally in an ideal habitat, very little time it comes down in a contiguous habitat. It comes down actually. It may cross even small grasslands, and when it crosses, actually it's beautiful. Its tail is always in the upright position. It's very interesting to, and not such things. But as I said earlier, actually, which are the sympatric species? The lion-tailed macaque is most important. So both are black, pure black, and both have got some kind of mane. But the mane of the lion-tailed monkey is very strong. Very big actually. Yeah, it's lion-like. And the tuft of hair in the tip of the tail also is for the lion-tailed monkey. But the Nilgiri Langur, a layman or for any people, it will be they will be quite confused with the lion-tailed monkey and Nilgiri Langur in a typical habitat. But the expert, some people are experienced actually looking at the tail and the nature of the gem and all. This lion-tailed macaque slowly, when there is a disturbance, they slowly withdraw from the scene. But the Nilgiri Langur, they will be jumping here and there, and finally the male may come and they show sometimes open its canines, show its canines, and some threat behavior also can be there. Long whooping calls, threat calls, all those things may happen. But the lion tail is not like that. It withdraws, slowly withdraws. So looking at the behavior and the features, it can be identified. So when there are too much of resources, there won't be any conflict between the lion tail and Nilgiri Langur in a typical habitat. But sometimes some in semi-evergreen areas, in deciduous areas, the common langur and the Nilgiri Langur they enjoy the same habitat. And there are certain hybrid species. Some of the papers you can see even hybrids between hybrid individuals formed between Nilgiri Langur and Hanuman Langur. The bonnet monkeys also, the bonnet macaques also come in the habitat of the Nilgiri Langur in certain places, but there are not much conflicts between these two species. But I have studied this Nilgiri Langur and the lion-tailed macaque in particular in Silent Valley National Park, which is found somewhere. So this is the original photograph of the South Indian region, the Western Ghats, and they are found from here. These Nilgiri Langur are found only here, and the Silent Valley National Park is somewhere here, and the Silent Valley National Park, the entire area, the Silent Valley National Park is Nilgiri Langur has been randomly distributed all over the national park, but lion-tailed macaque has been confined in certain tree association areas. That is the thing. And when I studied the 4 species, the Nilgiri Langur, around 85 species of Nilgiri Langur has been identified from 85 troops of the population of 501 individuals of Nilgiri Langur has been identified, and with an average troop size of 1 to 14 troop size has been identified in Nilgiri Langur. That has been published in Journal of Bombay Natural History Society also. This data, and when you come to the age-sex composition, Nilgiri Langur, the sex ratio was 1:2, 1 male is to 2 individuals. So that has been identified, and this data has been published in JBNHS journal. And when you come to the major food species, the feeding ecology of Nilgiri Langur has been published in Indian Forester at that time. Actually, then around 89 species of plant species has been identified as major food species of Nilgiri Langur. Culinia exarlata, Palecum ellipticum, Myristica dactylodus, Syzygium liatum, Biscophia javanica, Garcinia morella. These are some of the major species of the Nilgiri Langur. As in Silent Valley, in the 3-year study, 62 the diet contains about 62% of leaves, 14% of fruits, and 14% of seeds, and 10% of flowers. 10% of flowers. So that is the state, and the seasonal variation also has been studied at that time. Actually, in June-July region, actually the foliage feeding is down. The foliage feeding is more, but in certain seasons in June, especially May and June, actually the flower feeding and the fruit feeding also has been increased. So that is also that is also been studied. And what are the threats? When I was talking in between, I was talking about these problems, habitat loss. Some decades before, there was, due to agriculture and socioeconomic conditions, a lot of encroachment. The patta was given to many people. So a lot of habitat loss, habitat degradation. The quality has been coming down. A lot of due to mega developmental activities. Fragmentation has been mega development projects like dams, roads, highways. So all those things, and the plantations also. A lot of areas have been converted into plantations, and some of these plantations may be ideal. Even the cardamom plantations. In cardamom plantation, the canopy was there. Actually, some population of Nilgiri Langur was earlier there, but crop conversions in those areas. Or such issues are there. Human settlement, hunting for medicine. Actually, there was a Karinkurangi Rasayanam, which is a vernacular, which is a Malayalam word. Actually, it's a medicinal preparation made out of the Nilgiri Langur flesh. It was there actually once upon a time. So this monkey was poached for that medicine and for flesh. It was there. And roadside kill, and when I was in Periyar, actually even electrocution was also there. I have seen electrocution has reported in very many areas also. Forest fire. So all these are some of the threats to this beautiful endemic species. But we have to control. What are the management strategies? The habitat management. So the management plan of the protected area should contain some specific steps for managing this Nilgiri Langur. The continuous monitoring will be there. Poaching control measures should be taken. Public education should be taken. Population habitat viability analysis (PHVA) should happen at least in 10 years, and assess the problems. And the participatory forest management can be an excellent thing. Actually, with the support of the people in the protected areas, and species like Nilgiri Langur can be protected. Eco development is another strategy. It comes under for participatory forest management, where people also come for the management of protected areas and the natural areas. And these type of things may help for the management strategies. Finally, the zoos also can do a lot. Actually, right now, actually, the Central Zoo Authority, Thiruvananthapuram Zoo and Zoo. Zoos are not conventional zoos that we see in India. It is more, it's conservation centers now. Actually, it's a captive breeding centers now, and a lot of conservation education happens. So I'm happy and proud that actually Nilgiri Langur enjoys very good. Having in very many zoos of India, it is there, and captive breeding is happening. A lot of conservation education is happening. The zoos are coming forward for this kind of awareness activities. This type of things may help for the long-term conservation of the species. And thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you very much for inviting me to give a talk like this. And the Central Zoo Authority, I'm extremely thankful to Central Zoo Authority and the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the very enriching talk on the biology of the Nilgiri Langur, and for sharing your research insights from your work in Silent Valley National Park. We now move on to the second part of the session, which is on the zoo. And for that, we have Mr. Abu, who is the Director of the Department of Museums and Zoo, Kerala. A brief introduction. He is a zoologist by training and has over 30 years of experience in animal welfare and management. He has been instrumental in the modernization of the zoo and the Natural History Museum in Thiruvananthapuram. And he will speak to us today on the history, vision, and accomplishments of the zoo. I would now request Mr. Abu to please begin his talk.
So thank you so much. So I'm going to share the screen. Thank you so much. And first of all, I would like to register my sincere thanks to all the respected dignitaries of Central Authority, especially Dr. Sonali Ghosh, the DAGC today, and Arundhati Madam, for inviting me and providing me an opportunity. I think that there is some problem with the headset.
No, sir, you're audible. Sir, you're audible.
So I'm audible, but okay.
Yes.
Is it okay right now?
Yes, sir, it's on. It's okay.
Okay, I'm feeling some sort of echo. So I'm really grateful to you for providing me an opportunity to share some information. About Mysore. On the occasion of commemorating the 75th anniversary of our independence, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So once again, thank you so much. And first of all, I will give you an introduction about the Thiruvananthapuram Zoological Garden. So my department consists of not only the zoo, but a botanical garden. The different kinds of museums. 3 major museums are there. One, that museum or the Napier Museum, established in 1880, and it's and the antiquities from 2nd century to 18th century are being exhibited there. And the very famous, the Sensita Art Gallery, where you can see the paintings of Raja Ravivarma and other world famous paintings like Nicholas Roerich and Zetas Roerich and other Indian school of paintings also you can see. And 2 small galleries also there, and an aquarium and a butterfly park. So simply we can say my department of this campus is an unicorn with the fusion of art, culture, and nature. So talking about the history, Sothitirunal Maharaja, the Maharaja of Travancore, was said to be the visionary. Some problem with the audio. The echo is coming up. So some sort of problem I am feeling.
So now there's an echo.
With
the headset on, there wasn't an echo. Without it, it did.
Now is it clear, madam?
Yes. No, sir, we have an echo now. So I think you logged in from another device. If you try, yeah, now try speaking, sir.
Yes.
So I think you should log in from, if you should log in from the other device that is logged in as well.
Can you
So we can hear you, but there is an echo. I suggest that there is one more device which is connected. I think you should get that disconnected. Or mute it. I think that should be muted. Then I think it will clear out. Yes, now try, sir. And would you like me to share the presentation? I think that would help. So can you hear me? Yes, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes, yes. Now it's okay.
Fine. So would you like me to share your presentation?
Yes, 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 yes. So I will continue. I
fine.
will continue. I will continue. Now it's okay. Now it's okay. So talking about the history of my institution, history of the zoo, the Sotitirna Maharaja. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Can you see? Can you see the screen, madam?
Yes, sir. So I cannot see the screen right now. I'll share the screen for you if you need.
Introduction.
നമ്മൾ ഷെയർ ആയിട്ടാണ് ചോദിച്ചത്.
Share it, share. Yeah.
കാണാൻ പറ്റുമെന്ന് ചോദിച്ചത്.
Can you see the screen, madam?
Yes, sir. We are on the establishment slide right now. I think we are.
Ah, yes.
Good.
It's okay. It's okay. So
Yes.
sorry for the trouble.
No
This
problem.
may be technical done. So regarding the history of my museum, and actually the museum and zoo complex, it was said to be the Sotitirna Maharaja, the Israel Maharaja of Travancore, was said to be the visionary behind this museum and zoo at Travancore, but it was materialized by his successors. The Uttanatha Martanda Verma and General William Callan, they were behind the establishment of a museum first, and it was opened to the public in 1857. But not so many people coming to see the museum. So the museum failed to attract the people, and in order to attract more people to the museum, as an adjunct to the museum, a zoo has been set up. And so many people, naturally, there's a curiosity. There's a curiosity towards the wild animals, and the zoo will attract so many people. And from that visitors, a small portion of the visitors will go and see the museum as well. And the same strategy is still prevailing even after 160 years. And this zoo has been established in 1859, and without any doubt, I can say that this is the existing oldest zoo in India, because the first known zoo, the public zoo, first known public zoo established in India was at Madras in 1855, and after that, the Thiruvananthapuram zoo has been established in 1859. And about the zoo, it's really a biodiversity spot, and here we can see it's a tiger enclosure of Mysore. It's just like a thickly wooded forest. And here you can see a lake, a big lake surrounded by the greenery over there. And so many birds are coming here. Around 60 plus birds, species of birds you can see around this lake at all seasons. And many migratory birds are also coming. And here some colony of the birds are here, you can see seasonally. And more than 250 species of trees are there in the compound itself. So simply we can say it's the hardling machine of the city, or green lungs of the city. And this pond is also an excellent example of rainwater harvesting. And during the rainy season, rainwater will be collected in this pond, and it can be utilized. During the summer season and all days for cleaning purpose, and also for the gardening purpose. And about the invite status, and the total number of animals in my zoo is 1,163, coming under 3 categories: the mammals, reptiles, and birds, with 102 species. And Thiruvananthapuram Zoo is one of the participatory zoos in the captive breeding of lion-tailed macaques, and we do have right now 10 species, 10 specimens are there, 5:5. And let me talk something about the evolution of Thiruvananthapuram Zoo from the iron barred cages to the naturalistic enclosure. And we shall ever be grateful to Central Zoo Authority, like many other zoos. And after the formation of the Central Zoo Authority in 1992, but in we have given a mandate from the Central Zoo Authority to modernize our zoo and make it a master plan to change the zoo from the iron-barred cages to the naturalistic enclosure. And the master plan, so I would like to utilize this opportunity to acknowledge the contributions from three persons, three great persons. That's H.C. Desai sir and J.B. Patnaik and Pushpamar sir. These three men are me. They have prepared the master plan for the Thiruvananthapuram Zoo, and we have got note and we have got the approval from the Central Zoo Authority in 1995. Even though we got the approval in 1995, the conservation works, the construction works have been started in 1998 under the leadership of Sri C.S. Yalaki IFS, and was served and led this department for long 7 years, and later on he became one of the members of the technical committee Central Zoo Authority as well. And in the first phase, we have constructed a gourd enclosure for rhino, then hippopotamus, then macaques, langurs, then 2 enclosures for langurs and 3 enclosures for macaques, and an entrance exit plaza. In order to facilitate the people, those who are coming inside, with an information center and a cloakroom and a security surveillance system and a ticket counter as well. So out of these enclosures, the hippo enclosure, I would like to mention something about the hippo enclosure. This is one of the best in Indian zoos, among the Indian zoos, and we have made a river-like pool having a length of 35 meters. So we have got attention from various zoos, and they have copied the plan and as a model, plan of our hippo enclosure as a model. And in the second phase, we took 4 long years, for making 4 enclosures. One spacious enclosure for the lion, and the 2 enclosures for the bears, for sloth bear and Himalayan bear, and for leopard. Another enclosure for leopard, and here we can see on the screen we can see it's a naturalistic enclosure for the sloth bear, and here the Himalayan bear. You can see the Himalayan bears are enjoying the enrichment inside. Here also the leopards are taking rest and enjoying the enrichment inside the enclosure. And in the last phase and the final phase, we have made a reptile house. It's a reptile house, very long, broad reptile house with a temperature controlled ambience. And right now we are keeping anacondas and different species of other snakes, and more than 20 species of snakes in our collection, and the king cobras as well. And here we can make a comparison of the new enclosure of the modern zoo and the old cramped iron-barred cages. And these are something about the signages, and attractive signboards were made out of fallen trees. So hats off to the contribution from the zoo superintendent, Mr. Anil Kumar, and his team, comprising of so many artisans and artists there, and so many similar kind of boards are being kept at different parts of the zoo, at different points of the zoo. And talking about the breeding, and we do have an aquatic aviary where plenty of birds are breeding. Now the herons, all kinds of herons are breeding. Then ibises are breeding. Then swans are breeding. You can see the black swans with the cygnets. Then painted storks are breeding. And here the hyena, which is a cub. And I would like to highlight the education programs rather than highlighting other things of my zoo, because we have given a lot of importance to education programs, especially for the last 3 years. And hats off to Vijayalakshmi, who is education officer. It's a really pragmatic and dynamic personality who is standing in the middle. And here she has done a lot of things, and the observations of all the nature-related days are being celebrated. Yes, I would like to use that word celebrated. All the important nature-related days like Wetland Day, Water Day, World Tiger Day, then Environment Day and Wildlife celebrations and everything. And these are some examples of proactive sensitizing campaign. And here we have collected the old clothes from the staff, and we have stitched the cloth bags and distributed through all the offices of Thiruvananthapuram in order to sensitize them not to use plastic. And we have distributed, this is an outreach program, and we have distributed 400 pens to all the police personnel and all other officers in front of government secretariat and all other public places. So that kind of, in order to beat plastic. Here we are, so we are conducting some painting competition related to the World Environment Day and distributing saplings. And here this awareness rally flagging of the secretary, additional secretary to the state, and she is flagging of the awareness rally organized in relation with the wildlife week celebrations. And here, there's another thing is that it's an exhibition of information panels. The outdoor exhibition, it's not an indoor exhibition. It is attracting so many people, and occasionally we are conducting the exhibition of the information panels during the nature-related days. And here seminars. This is Dr. Isa. I think Dr. G.D.K. Joseph is familiar with him. Dr. Isa, the former principal of the KFRI, Kerala Forest Research Institute, he's taking the classes on World Tiger Day, International Tiger Day, and he's Professor Kunibishan sir. He's also taking some classes, and here the education officer is conducting the awareness classes for the college students. And one peculiarity of education program or education programs are it ranges from kindergarten to public, and there will be lot of competition, plenty of competition meant for the public as well, the quiz painting competition and all. So here again, the information panel exhibition. And during the Corona period, we have shifted the education into online mode. And 15 seminars have been conducted during that period. So it's really a record. And here you can see some neighborhoods. The trees are also given a lot of respect. And these kind of various kinds of information boards are being given to all the trees of the compound without using nails, and we are using the stainless steel chain. And talking about the sustainability, this is the vegetable garden. It's near the zoo compound, and this is the waste management system here. This is the vermicompost units, and we are selling tons of manure per year. And there is another sewage treatment plant is there for recycling the water. These are the facilities which are being offered to the public, and the shelters are there, and then battery operated vehicles are there. And we are providing free service to the physically challenged and senior citizens on concession rate. And here the drinking water points are there. Then a children's park outside the zoo, there is this children's park for enthusiasm. And within the Museum Zoo compound, there we can see some dining area, and then resting area. So when restaurants and food courts are there. And e-toilets and she toilets, some of them are disabled friendly, have been provided at different points at different locations inside the zoo. These are some drinking water points, and this is especially this one. The left one in the picture is made out of bamboos and bricks and tiles. It's completely eco-friendly one. This is in the shape of a mushroom. And we have proudly, I can say that just like other zoos, and we have launched a mobile app which provides comprehensive information about almost all the animals in the animal kingdom, and we have just followed the model of Woodland Park Zoo, and now we are getting appreciation from different parts of life and different parts of society. And bilingual commentary is also provided with in Malayalam and English as well. And this is a peculiar thing I would like to highlight here, Thiruvananthapuram Natural History Museum, and we are highlighting the Thiruvananthapuram Natural History Museum as an interpretation center for the zoo, not to promote the education. This is actually, it is established in 1964, but recently it's renovated. And it took 3 years, 3.5 years to enable it complete. It's undergone a complete modernization process. And it was reopened to the public in 2021. So once they were the part of the zoo, and after their death, the carcass has been taken, the skeleton has been taken, articulated, and being exhibited here, to impart education. This is the skeletal gallery. This is the birds gallery. The plenty of birds, wide variety of birds are being displayed here, stuffed and being displayed here. And there's tortoises. Once they were the part of the zoo, they started with a tortoise, and after their death, this carapace has been taken and it's being displayed in such a beautiful manner. It's an extinct species world in order to give the importance of, in order to give the public the message of importance of conserving our species by remembering them about the extinct species. And this is the mammals gallery. This is the Asian region, and this is the African animals. And this is American. This is for the it's meant for the American species. So the jaguars are being exhibited there. Once again, a wider view. It's a wide view of the birds gallery. Here the horns and antlers are being exhibited here. Again, the horns and antlers. This is the Index Gallery of Natural History Museum. So we do have a full-fledged veterinary hospital with all kinds of veterinary facilities. But I would like to mention about some of the upcoming projects. And we do not have a quarantine facility, but right now we have got permission from the Central Authority, and in the master plan also it is incorporated, and we have started the construction. We have started the construction of the quarantine facility just near to Zoo Hospital, and now it's being it will be completed this year itself. This is another upcoming project, and the future plan of Mysore. Our future plan is to make the zoological garden into an interpretation center and an education center. This is an upcoming project for making 4 different small interpretation centers at different locations, and one for the reptiles, the other for the primates, one for the birds, and other for the big cats. So these are beautifully done, and it's going to be open to the public soon. This is another long pending dream, and we did not have a full-fledged store or office complex and a food preparation area. And now it's coming. That dream comes true, and now full-fledged zoo store with all kinds of storage facilities and food preparation area and all kinds of freezer and all kinds of equipments. With all kinds of equipments is ready, and it is going to be public soon. It's going to be operational soon. This is a butterfly garden. It's almost completed, and with food plants and breeding plants. It's really looking natural, and we have planted so many things over there, and we are attracting more than 55 to 60 species of butterflies, and information boards are already been there in place, and it also going to be open to the public, and definitely I'm quite sure that it's going to be a paradise for nature lovers. This is the new project which is incorporated into the master plan of our zoo, new master plan of our zoo. It's a new project. It's exotic birds aviary, especially meant for accommodating 3 species of macaw. As we have named it as the World of Macaw, and just we have copied the model from the Jerome's Bird Park, Singapore, by converting a valley with the trees inside, and 3 JBs will be there, and 3 different species of macaws can be displayed. And talking about disaster management, then we have a full-fledged and round-the-clock surveillance tool, and the surveillance system is here, and we have placed more than 170 cameras at different points in the enclosures and the cages of animals, in the retiring area of animals, and also in the premises, in order to control the visits and in order to observe, and to watch the behavior of the animals as well. And this is working in a nice way. It's a big room is there with around the clock watching facilities and some mock drills on firefighting and all the stuff. One thing I would like to say that all the staff of my department, not only the zoo staff, but the museum staff and the botanical garden staff also, all of them were subjected to the training at IMG, and the classes were conducted by the Disaster Management Authority and also the Fire and Rescue Department of the state of Kerala. Every year we are doing that one. And we do have a good trained rapid response team, and we have 10 members of police personnel in order to handle any law and order situation and to inside and for the security of the zoo and museums. And 25 security guards are there all around zoo, in and around zoo and museum. And towards the end, I would like to mention about the footfall, which is not footfall, and about the revenue generated by our department. And before the pandemic situation, before the COVID, we had a collection of 6 crores, nearly 6 crores per year for the zoo. And the footfall comes nearly about 11 lakhs, in between 11 lakhs and 12 lakhs every year. So that's all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for the very enriching presentation and talk on the history and current accomplishments of your zoo and how you're going to be taking it forward. We will now take questions for the session. So first, we will start with Dr. Joseph. Dr. Joseph, are you there?
Yes,
Sir, please answer. Yeah. All right. Okay, sir. So the first question for you, sir, is that you mentioned that anthropogenic habitat modification could increase the civic associations of Hanuman and Nilgiri Langur and also hybridization. What do you think needs to be done to prevent this?
Oh, yeah. Could you repeat actually the question once again?
Sure, sir. So it says that you mentioned that anthropogenic habitat modifications could increase the incidences of interspecific associations of Hanuman and Nilgiri Langur. What needs to be done to prevent this?
Oh, in fact, actually, these are 2 different points. In fact, the anthropogenic pressure, the anthropogenic pressure on the habitat may be an important threat for Nilgiri Langur in general. That was one point. And in some areas, actually, as symbiotic species, the Nilgiri Langur and the common langur may come. Actually, their habitats, overlap. In such situations, actually, naturally, this Hanuman Langur and the Nilgiri Langur interbreed among themselves. So the hybrid varieties may come. So it has been
what
reported.
do you suggest to prevent it? What would you suggest
it is not easy to prevent such situations actually, but when the quality of the original habitat, actually according to me, the ideal habitat for the Nilgiri Langur is wet evergreen forest. Maximum population of Nilgiri Langur is found in nature is in the wet evergreen forest. So if you keep intact the wet evergreen forest, in terms of its quality that may not even coming down in the habitat of Hanuman Langur, where if at all it happens, that's the thing.
Okay, sir. So the next question is that if the lion-tailed macaque and the Nilgiri Langur cross paths, do they cooperate or are there altercations? Are there fights? Is there any interspecies hierarchy seen between the two?
There is absolutely not. There is no fight absolutely between this because their ecological niches are different actually. One is a polyvore and the other one is a frugivore. And in Southern Valley, actually, the lion-tailed macaque, never I have cited the lion-tailed macaque feeding on foliages because fruits are there all the time. If one tree species is having, finished its fruits, another species might definitely be in fruiting in the right condition. So that is the beauty of evergreen forest. So they are always in fruits with the fruits. Whereas the foliages, especially the younger shoots and younger foliages, are plenty. So there is no need of quarreling with the resources. one is yeah, and another, sometimes actually when resources are more abundant, like everywhere, as I mentioned, actually the Palacium and Cullenia, these are two important species in the wet evergreen forest. When these two species are in flowering or fruiting, the same tree sometimes or adjacent trees, you can find the lion-tailed macaque feeding on the flower of Cullenia, and sometimes on the other top finer branch you see Nilgiri Langur also. There is absolutely no problem. Yes.
Okay. All right, sir. So the next question for you is that involvement of tribal community seems to be critical for the conservation of the Nilgiri Langur and the lion-tailed macaque and other habitat specialists. What do you think can be done by academics, college students, or youth to engage with them?
It's a fantastic question, because when I was working in Silent Valley National Park in the fringe areas, there was Muduga tribe, and they used to come occasionally once in a year in fringe areas of the protected areas, and they trap monkeys. They're very efficient in trap monkeys, and they don't know the very value of the species. And for their protein, they depend upon they were conventionally depending upon this monkey for their protein source, sometimes in a year, once in a year, things like that. So in such cases, using students and the teachers or the conservation awareness programs involving students also can do a lot for bringing awareness. So what should be done, what should not be done, and the protected areas should economically benefit people also. If it is a protected area and some tourism activities or some economic generation activities are happening, that money should flow back to the people living around. There's no fun in getting money for the big multinational agencies or multinational hotels. Nothing. The protected areas should economically benefit people, our country. Then the tribes and the other people may own the habitat. I see. I've been working in Periyar Tiger Reserve for 10 years, where the eco-development strategies were so working, in which the almost 200 people, the fringe area people, are tourist guides, and they're getting money. And more than 150 fringe area people are running, their house as a lodge, actually, things, homestay and all. And when they like, actually, because we said to them that the forest belongs to you, actually. If the forest belongs, starts from your home, and when these species come to their vicinity, then their gardens, what happens? And they can easily show these species, these Nilgiri Langur, in their home yard, backyard, and they're getting money. In fact, so that's a very beautiful scene, actually. That's what is happening in Periyar Tiger Reserve. So because what I'm telling is that the protected areas, rather than simply locking the protected areas, through some conservation education programs, through some ecotourism programs, the money should flow back to the people living around. Such things may work, especially the tribal communities, using the tribal community. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So the last question for you is that were hybrids between the Nilgiri Langur and Hanuman Langur seen before, like, habitat loss and fragmentation took place, or is this more of a recent condition, and is it increasing?
It was, I mean, I'm not in a position to say exactly the latest situation of that, but there were reports in the past, even without habitat degradation and such things. There were reports of hybrids between Hanuman Langur and Nilgiri Langur. Not much studies, only detailed long-term studies in the fringe areas can only answer your question, in fact.
Right.
Okay,
sir. So I think that these are all the questions for you. Now we will take questions for Mr. Abu. So Mr. Abu, the first question for you is that, so your outreach programs are indeed commendable, especially related to plastic eradication and the seminars that you have conducted during this pandemic period. How do you foresee the role of zoos in the post-pandemic world, and what do you think can be done to re-engage with the public?
Yeah, this online medium can play a role, and we are extensively utilizing that thing, and it's very easy to conduct all these things. Within a day, within a day or within 2 days or within a week, we can make and we can conduct a seminar or just like a webinar, and we can educate a lot of people. So I am of the opinion that during the COVID period or this period is best for the education without too much strain, without too much taking too much strain.
Right. Okay, sir. So the next question for you is that Kerala is known for its civil society organizations. So what can you elaborate on how zoos can engage with the NGOs and the civil society organizations? How do you engage with them? How do you
Yeah. That's I have missed it. Really, I have intended to express it during my presentation, but really I missed it. And we are incorporating a lot of non-government organizations and the natural lovers clubs and so many students for conducting the education programs, and we are sharing the joint platform with jointly we are sharing the platform with the WWF. A lot of awareness programs are being done with the participation of the World Wide Fund for Nature, the Thiruvananthapuram chapter, the Kerala chapter, and so many students from college and school nature clubs are also cooperating with the education officers. So some sort of good activities are going on. And another thing I would like to remind you that Thiruvananthapuram Zoo it's really missed in my presentation. Thiruvananthapuram Zoo is the first zoo in the country which created a post and appointed an education officer.
Oh, okay. That's great, sir. So I think that's it. These are the two questions that had come for you. And with this, we would wrap up today's session. And I would like to thank you and Dr. Joseph for joining in for today's session. And I would like to thank the audience for also joining in and going and knowing more about the species and the zoo. So we will be the week 8 will continue with Thiruvananthapuram Zoo till the 9th of May, and do follow their Facebook page for more updates on what are the activities that are being planned around the zoo. Our week 9 species is the Indian chevrotain or the mouse the mouse deer, and our zoo in focus would be the Nehru Zoological Park, Hyderabad. So do tune in for our Know Your Species, Know Your Zoo talk next week on Wednesday from 4 to 5 p.m. Thank you so much once again to both of you for taking time out.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, sir.